What's up, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Deanna Reese Williams, and I am going to take a moment to talk about my goals. So, if you've been catching on to my series, this is the second episode. Last week, I was sharing with you guys basically my digital vision board. And I also shared with you all my goal development plan, which was something I had created long ago, I think in 2021, 2022. I created this goal development plan. And what I mentioned in Thursday's video, if you want to go back and watch that video, I was talking about why I developed this product in the first place. And because I am trying to be very intentional about achieving my goals this year, I thought it would be a good idea if I just use this as a model for myself to go through to guide us through this entire series. So to get you up to speed, I'm going to go to the table of contents and just share some of the first couple of steps that I have in the book. So the first step one is to conduct a pre-session of your self-assessment. And so what that means is you're going to basically do a self-assessment, whether it's on your own or you would do it with a coach, which I would technically be the coach. And then step two, your initial consultation session with your mentor, which would be myself. And then step three, create your vision board. And step four, write and revise your goals, your goal development plan itself. And step five, your goal action. And step six, your accountability plan. So we're going to just start with doing some pre-assessment stuff. And I'm just sharing this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So the first couple of questions you want to kind of ask yourself to conduct this pre-session self-assessment is, what are your short-term, your mid-term, and long-term professional goals? And what skills and abilities will help you reach these actual goals that you have for yourself? And what professional development do you need to achieve your actual goals? So when I think about applying this to myself and some of the goals that I've already identified, because I did the vision board, I actually, when I went back through and I was looking at the book, I actually had kind of did some work in this before, but some of these goals still very much hold true because I'm working through them as we speak. So once you identify the goals and you figure out what are your short-term, long-term, and professional goals, your next step is you actually start to write them down. And so again, I had mentioned in a previous video that writing out goals is something that I've always had to do since I was a kid. And so my mom never said, okay, Deanna, I want you to sit down and I want you to write SMART goals and I want them to be measurable. She never said that to me. This is something that I learned over time. And because I have a background in social work and being a special ed certified teacher, a lot of my career, I wrote a lot of SMART goals for either service plans for children or independent educational plans for children, students that were on IEPs. And so honestly, I'm like a professional goal writer, if I could say it that way. And the funny thing is that last week when I was talking to you guys in my main job working at a community college, my academic dean required us to create some goals. And I thought, really? I have all these goals already. Now you want me to write them out? So I'm going to give an example of what a SMART goal can look like. And so basically I said for one of my work goals is that I was going to read at minimum 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week, a professional development book that is going to enhance my skills. And I would complete this book by May of 2025. So I give that example because I feel like you guys should know what a SMART goal is. So if you've never heard of a SMART goal, this is how you break it down. SMART goals need to be S, meaning, and I'll show you the picture here. So S is being specific. You need to be clear as possible with what you want to achieve. Make sure your goal is measurable. That's what the M stands for, to demonstrate evidence you're making towards your goal. Make it achievable. Is to set a reasonable goals you can accomplish within a certain time frame to keep you motivated and focused. And R is being relevant. You want to make sure your goal is relevant to your short and long term goals. In other words, you want to ensure your goal is aligned with your overall vision. And then time based. In order to be successfully reach your goals, you need to identify an end date to help prioritize and motivate you to complete that goal. So, another great example of this was that I had this huge goal, huge goal. So for some of you that are new to the channel, I did a 75-day challenge back in mid-October, and it ended on December 20th of 2024. And so over that 75 days, I had to work on my doctorate. I am a student that goes to school by night and teaches by day. I teach full-time at a community college, and I also obviously am a content creator. I'm also a solo entrepreneur. So there's a lot of things that I manage typically all the time. I'm also a wife, and I have 3 dogs, and I used to be a parent guardian for 10 years. So with that being said, I had to challenge myself to really plow through this big goal that I had. So if you remember my vision board from last week, which I'll try to insert a picture here, I basically have a picture of myself when I graduated in 2018 with my second master's. And so right now, my goal is to be able to walk in May of 2026. And part of what I had to do is I made this challenge. The challenge and goal was that I would write chapters 2 and 3 by December of 2024, but I needed to work on the paper at minimum 45 minutes each day over the 75 days. So my overall goal for that challenge was I wanted to make sure I did 75 days of movement every single day. And I also made sure that I worked on my paper for 45 minutes each day as well. Did I achieve that goal? Absolutely. How was that possible? Because I made the goal very specific. I made it measurable, achievable, relevant, and I also had to make sure that I made sure that it was time-based. And so making sure that I had a timeline to achieve the goal was really, really critical. So I want you guys to take a moment to think about your vision board, because once you have the vision, you actually need to kind of map out a plan on how you're going to get there. And so part of getting there is you've got to have the SMART goals. And so if you're able to do those SMART goals, that's what's going to help you be successful and help you actually achieve that goal. So when people are asking me, how do you manage all these things and how do you make it achievable? I'm telling you, I take those goals and bring them to life. And then every week I check in to see where I'm at with the goal. So with my other 2 things, or I had several goals on my vision board, but one of them was being able to reinstate and start my program, Outback Learning LLC. That is something that I'm not actively working on right now, but it is going to be a long-term goal that I'm working towards. And so within the next month or so, when I get things going with the challenge, and once the first month of like my spring semester gets started, then I will start focusing in on Outback Learning. But along the way, I will also, because Miss D over at LaSure TV was like, girl, you need to go ahead and do the podcast on YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? She's absolutely right. So the podcast is coming. And I'm really trying to consider what are some things I want to talk about over at the podcast, but that's a goal. And that's not something that I need to actively do right now, but it is something that I will start working towards probably around spring break, which will be early March for me. So if you have goals in mind and you've already created your vision board, take a moment and write that SMART goal in the comment section, and I'll let you know if I think it's a great SMART goal or not. Just kidding. All goals are great. But if you would like some feedback on your SMART goal, write it in to the comments below, and I'm happy to give you some feedback. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off of here. And if you haven't remembered, we are starting our 45-day challenge next Tuesday. I will be going live next Tuesday at 3 p.m. And I'm kind of challenging myself to go live for 75 days straight. Let's see if that happens. Listen, if it doesn't happen for 75 days, It's okay to give yourself grace when you're working on goals, but at least you set the goal to try to achieve it. But it doesn't mean that you can't try again the next day. So, all right, guys, until next time, have a great day, have a good morning, and have a good night. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.